Yeah. And for the final thing here,
Yeah.
what's your advice for, university students or
Ah,
people who just
okay.
recently graduated?
You're screwed. No, you're not screwed. It's
Good luck.
fine. There's still a market out there. You mean for career advice? Yes.
Um, yeah, well, career advice or just money advice, right? Because
Okay.
they're now coming
Money
to a
advice.
world where they need to really start thinking about money.
Yeah, yeah,
Investing is one piece of it, but there's
yeah, yeah. Money. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
we'll stick to money then. Money wise, I would say don't underestimate how expensive things are. As a relatively young person, you might think that you can like casually do something and still succeed. Like maybe you're very clever and like can still like play a fool and still pass your exams, right? But like facts are facts. Only 0.5% of Malaysians have more than 1 million in their EPF. Only 1% of Malaysians have more than 700k in their EPF. And even if you have 700k, you divide that by by 12, you divide it by 20 in terms of how long you're gonna live. That's not a lot of money, right? That's like 4,000 bucks, and that's your starting pay basically. How can you retire with that amount? A decent retirement is gonna be in the range of 2.4 to 3 million ringgit. So casually saving and all that is not gonna work, right? Because actually, with time on your hands, you just have to put very, very little aside to actually get compound interest in your favor and actually reach your financial goals. So yeah, in terms of money, I would also say that when you get your first paycheck, really read it, because there's things like taxes, there's things like EPF, there's things that get taken away, and your net pay is actually a lot less. Then you really want to revisit how often you visit Zoom, how often you buy your avocado toast, right? So saving is great, but like really you're just running in the spot because inflation just eats away at it. So really start looking at investing as soon as you can. And this also is a personal experience, personal anecdote. Uh, if my dad didn't bring me to get a property that in my first year when I'm working to service a mortgage, I'd be priced out right now. I wouldn't be in this house in my own name paying off my mortgage. So try and buy in Singapore, obviously very different, right, Reggie? But in Malaysia, there's a downturn in the property market. You want to look for somewhere to stay for yourself, right? So you can service that mortgage. And ultimately, when you're gonna get married in your 30s and all that, you'll find that, yeah, it's good advice.
Nice.
I think a lot of Singaporeans are also contemplating Johor now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like,
and
it's getting a bit tough in Singapore, but it's okay. I think in
uh,
general, it's just a different way of managing finances. Yeah, it's
true,
cool.
true. Like rent versus buy, right?
Yeah, that's a whole different discussion. We'll do it another time. But yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, and I guess my own thoughts, just adding on to that,
Yeah.
is especially once you're like done school and you have more time on your hands, I would actually say like skip trying to learn how to stock pick right away, right? Because number one, you don't have that money to actually stock pick with, and so learning it's not as valuable at that point versus using that time to find ways to improve your skills, right? But you should still be investing, and that's why like I'm such a big fan of StashAway, right? Because it's one of those things where you can literally set it up in 30 minutes. It can automatically help like invest for you going forward, and then have that, and then you can spend the rest of your time and energy and focus figuring out how do you actually grow your income to the point where you can buy that first house, or to the point where you can look at buying the next big like Apple or whatever it is that you want to buy, right? But that's kind of just something else I just wanted to add in there. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, Reggie, you wanna jump in?
no, we're quite in sync. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're the guest. We're more curious of what are your thoughts, right?
right. Yeah, I'd say there's definitely room for stock picking. Maybe not out the gate like what CS said, but I think it really depends on your own passion, right? If it's not really a passion of yours to understand companies, how they're affected by economies, to read those research reports, and take that risk, I really think it's something more accessible like StashAway is probably better for you. And there's definitely platforms that you can use to basically graduate to stock picking. So and then always make sure, for example, you have your cash buffer in place before you start stock picking. Paper trading is something that has been advocated as well, and then definitely choosing a discipline, right? Like there's 1,001 ways to make money from the stock market, and you need to stick to a discipline, right? Are you a small cap guy? Are you a dividend yield guy? Are you a Malaysia only, Singapore only, or like are you a global guy? So find your journey and stick to a discipline of picking stocks. What I will definitely not do is pay tens of thousands of ringgit for those guys to teach you how to like read financial statements, and because there are all these spurious guys out there who you turn up to the seminar after like paying $5,000, and they say the real secrets is in the next seminar, and then they have credit card holders to take your money straight away. Those guys are very spurious. They are in the business of selling courses. They're not in the business of necessarily helping you get rich. There's a lot of resources online, guys. Like if you really want to stock pick, you really want to invest properly, tons of resources online.
Yeah.
Cool. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay. So last thing, not related to anything else at this point. But what books or materials would you suggest? Anyone right now being stuck at home, expose themselves to become a better or to better understand how to deal with money, or what do you currently do?
Truth be told, I actually don't read too much these days. I think just have like ADHD, right? But the things I have read in the past 2 years, which I think are pretty good for times like these, is Ray Dalio's Principles. I think that's pretty good. I would also subscribe to Howard Marks' Oaktree Investments CIO newsletter. He's really good. Freddie from StashAway's CIO Insights are actually really good as well. Like what I really like, obviously super biased, right? But what I really like is that you have a too long didn't read TLDR version on top, and then if you want to really nerd out, you just scroll down and we can turn up the nerd meter pretty quickly, right? So if you really want to learn those stuff, you can. Otherwise, I do consume a lot of financial media. So I'd say guys like Mohammed El Arian, very, very good people to listen to. And then Bloomberg also has a podcast on Spotify called Bloomberg Business Week that really helps you get a broader sense of business as opposed to just markets, because markets is just crazy day-to-day stuff, right? Bulls, bears, pigs. But then Business Week is really good because it gives you a broader sense of like ongoing themes, startups, corporates, and they have literally like a half-hour, 45-minute podcast like every day. So yeah, free as well, right? So go for it.
Hey, this is CS from More Money Malaysia. We are a platform dedicated to helping Malaysians like you make smart financial decisions. And the way we do that is through providing you with actionable advice, such as the video you just saw, right? But we're not here just to become your intellectual entertainment. We really do want to see you succeed, because we want to see you live that ultimate life that you've always dreamt of, right? And in order for us to do that, what we've decided to do is we want to help make it easier for you by providing different types of rewards throughout the months. So make sure you check out the description below, click on that link and see what type of reward you might be able to qualify for by taking action right now. And if you have any other questions about any of this, feel free to contact us wherever you find us. Take care.